and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode. This week we celebrate our milestone in episode 300 in style with special guest Transformers comics colorist John-Paul Bove. He gives us the scoop on the upcoming UK Royal Mail Transformers stamps that he worked on. Today is Friday, August 26, 2022, and this is episode 300 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that always says, the more the merrier. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
More the merrier.
Apollo, aka Robo Apollo.
Hi, everyone.
The amazing and awesome producer and editor, Mike.
If I count myself as two people, does that mean more?
Colorful colorist, John-Paul Bove. It's a podcast, JP. You got to say something.
I think you'll find I took 2 years learning mime, and I don't intend to waste that. So everything will be done through interpretive dance this evening.
And Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
Sorry, I can't stop. Hello, everyone. Let's talk Transformers.
He said the thing.
Hey.
I get to say the thing again.
Yes, so this is episode 300 of Transmissions Alt Mode. We started, Alt Mode was a spin-off of Transmissions. We started it in, I think it was like November, December of 2016. So it's been about 6 years. So, yeah, awesome. 300 episodes. A lot of talking about Transformers media. And we thought since in the main show we had the old school crew back, this show we've got the new school. So we've got Dr. Pants and Apollo, our newest additions, along with the old guys up here, Mike, Jeremy, and then of course our ringer, our ace in the hole, John-Paul Bove.
It's fair to say in 6 years we've all aged horribly.
Speak for yourself.
I was mainly, but I was going to sweep you into the orbit of my insult.
But as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and support the show. Although no one has taken us up on the Bove level yet, but we're hopeful. we're hopeful someone takes us up on that offer. JP's got a ham to deliver.
How much is the Bove level again?
Was it $1,000? Is it $1,000 a month?
I think it's $1,000 a month.
We can go to patreon.com/transmissions and find it.
So
$10,000.
$10,000. Okay.
Oh, 10.
10,000.
If you pay annually, it's $10,000 a month. If you pay annually, you'll save 16%.
Wow.
Oh.
And I think it's really important to say that I will hand deliver a glazed ham to your house for that money. Just the once. I'm busy, so I don't have time to do that every month. But I think actually I've upped that. I don't think it was glazed when I first offered. I don't think it was a glazed ham.
That's worth the 10K. It's worth the 10K.
And if I have room, I will put deviled eggs in my pockets. You're not going to have them, but you can look at them. For 10,000 to have looked at the deviled eggs in my pockets. I mean, what else are people spending their money on?
If I win the lottery, the Bove level is on the top list of things that I am going to buy. After pay off the house, pay off the car, Bove level.
Whereabouts do you, if I can ask, whereabouts do you live in the?
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm East Coast, United States.
Okay, I've not been to Pennsylvania, so that's perfect. So I get to tick off an area off my list, deliver a glazed ham to a work adjacent associate,
There you go.
I really mean that.
Andrew Griffith lives in East Pennsylvania too, so you can go and see him.
Okay, well then
we can have a party.
Work
Yeah.
trip now.
Yeah.
Write it off.
Yeah. I think he's vegan though, so he won't want to see the eggs. And indeed, thinking
Probably
about
not the ham.
ham's probably a problem. Yeah, yeah. I probably should have started with the ham and worked down to the eggs. But the promise of pocket eggs is a lot for people to,
It can
A
be
lot
an
of people
impossible
dream about it.
glazed ham. Just fake meat.
Yeah. Well, I could just bring the glaze, couldn't I? Oh no, because the glaze is probably honey.
Yeah, that's not
Bee
vegan.
enslavement.
Mm.
Maybe he could just have the handshake.
Stevia.
He'll just get the handshake. Are you prepared to part with your handshake? I just hand you the ham. Graciously.
That's fine.
Alright.
As long as I can videotape this just to be like, look what I spent money on.
Yeah. I might even get a little skateboard and just push the ham to you.
Yeah.
You would.
And then coquettishly show you the eggs in my pockets.
Worth it. Worth the 10,000.
Yeah.
You would make the money back by putting that on YouTube.
Yeah. Honestly, to be honest, I'd have to put it on OnlyFans. I don't know.
Only hams.
Yeah.
I don't
Only
think
hams.
only
Only
hams.
hams.
Just egg. I think I think YouTube have fairly strict content policies about displaying pockets full of eggs, so they probably can't do that. But
All right. So if you want these shenanigans, transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's how you can do it.
Yeah.
Sign up.
/pocket eggs.
Daryl's not here tonight. You can ask Daryl why. No, you're not Daryl. you're
You
not.
had your chance.
Yeah.
You know why you're not here.
Everyone listening, ask Daryl why he decided to go on vacation at our milestone episode week, and ask him to explain that.
Explain yourself, man.
I want a formal
But,
written apology.
Think about
And
your actions
yeah.
and how they affect us.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
In that written apology, also make sure you're using the new cover sheet that we have.
Yeah.
Because there was a memo. If you didn't get it, I can send it back.
Is that the one from corporate? Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
So, of course, we'll try to go on without Daryl. The show must go on. We've got. Yep, that's why you're here, JP.
Yeah. I'm the discount Daryl.
But Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about the thrilling next episode of Empire of Rust? So we had episode 83, the bonus uncut episode came out for Donatrons this week, but next week we've got the regular episode going up on the free feed at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. This is our live play Transformers RPG podcast, and episode 83 is Let's Split Up, Gang.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're Scooby-Dooing this shit up for this episode. And Dr. Pants, I forget if it's in 83 or 84, but I introduced your name to the crew, and they had thoughts. They had thoughts.
Oh man, I don't care if it's good or bad. I'm just excited to be somehow connected to Empire of Rust.
Mike, that was 82, actually. That was last week.
Oh,
Wait, what? Did I miss it? What happened?
I'm not caught up to there yet, so I'll...
Oh, well, you know what? There you go. I can't remember what I recorded, so
I don't remember.
Enjoy
I don't care what you
episode-
call me. Just call me.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
But yes, so we continue the story of our characters of Carapace, Magnum, Denizen, and Wildstrike. And they, as you suspect from the title, they split up. They do the classic D&D split the party. Fred and
Bad
Delma, Fred and Daphne going one way, Velma and Scooby going the other way.
I have to ask, number one, is Denizen Scooby? And number
No.
two, who got stuck paired up with Denizen?
Magnum is always going to be Scooby.
Fair.
You can't debate that.
No.
As far as the rest, you're just going to have to listen and find out.
Is there a giant Cybertronian sandwich involved?
We call it a denizen snack.
Wait, I thought Magnum was Scooby.
My internal monologue doesn't have to be consistent, Charles.
Oh, okay. All right.
By the way, I do just want to state, though, I love Denizen, standout character, and maybe my favorite in the series. I want to throw it out there.
You are in the minority.
I am aware. I love Denizen.
All right. Check that out. Coming this Monday, August 29th, episode 83, transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And we did talk about this. We announced this in episode 500, but just wanted to remind people because Dr. Pants is here, and Daryl talked about it in episode 500. So Dr. Pants, you're here in Alt Mode 300, and you've got a new show. It's going to be a Donatreon exclusive. It's going to be going up on the Patreon and maybe this week or next week. We've got a brand new show. It's Daryl and Dr. Pants talking about big bots.
I mean, we both love big bots, and we cannot lie. It has been expressed on this show multiple times. But yeah, check that out. Daryl and I, just being the toy lovers we are, we just want to talk about different toys. Each episode is going to be a little character specific as we show off different figures and talk about them and whatnot. And I mean, we had a lot of fun. It's a passion of ours, so there's a lot of joy in it. We just have a blast just BSing for a while. So please get on there and check it out. And if you're not a Donatreon, why not? Be a Donatreon. Check out our big bots. We have lots of them. They're very big.
So they make Transformers toys now.
Yes. I know. I was shocked too.
Yeah. I mean, I had the lunchbox, but I had no idea. Okay.
But did you have the thermos along with it?
Yes. But in England, of course, we filled it full of hot beer.
Understandable.
Hot, steaming beer.
And before we get into the rest of the show, we do want to just, since we're transitioning, this is a milestone. We thought we'd change the format up a little bit. So just like we talked about in the main show in episode 500, we shifting the format around a little bit. It's not as drastic in alt mode, but we do want to accommodate for the situations where we don't have any comics to review because with the license for IDW ending, the comics are slowing down, and we're still waiting to hear that what's going to happen with the Transformers comics license in the future. So still a bit up in the air. So we're going to be dealing with a trickle of the trickle of releases is going to slow down. So we'll probably it's going to go down to I think just one comic a month going forward pretty soon, with Shattered Glass being the last comic. Shattered Glass 2, I should say, being the last comic coming out.
You have a series called Last Bot Standing, but it's not going to be the last book, which you would think that should be the last Transformers book.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I think we're also, it's just the show is going to be much shorter because there is not a lot of media news week to week. So until Earthspark comes back, and then, we'll have to talk about how we're going to cover Earthspark.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll think about doing maybe some classic reviews, some TV show reviews. Things we'll throw things in now and again. But and for Alt Mode 300, actually, since we have a special guest right there, we're gonna talk to him, and so that's gonna serve as our main course here, other than the ham. So
I'm saving that for the. I don't have 2 ham money. I'm made of hams, Giles.
That special someone.
Which I want.
So let's jump in and start off with some comics news. The animation's coming, JP. That's in post. That goes in post.
I was not consulted on this.
I might actually get like the Autobot symbol tattooed on the palm and the Decepticon. So I just have conversations with people, and when I just want them to end, go da-da-da-da-da, and then run away. That'd be the greatest passive aggressive, but fan thing to do, wouldn't it?
Brilliant.
Right. Talk to the hand.
Yeah. Tell me why Slicer should be Wheeljack.
All right. First bit of comics news. We've got the Masterpiece Beast Wars MP48 Plus Dark Amber Leo Prime manga. So this is a comic that's included with this figure in Japan. And we've got an English translation for it. So if you are curious about, the comic came out and it was, it's available if you buy the toy in Japan. And, of course, it's in Japanese. But if you've got an English translation. So if you're curious what it's about, you can now figure it out. And I'm seeing that this was apparently colored by Josh Perez, or the art was by Josh Perez. His name is there in the comic. So great job, Josh. So check that out. We'll have a link in the show notes, and you can see. And we throw some art up in there, Jeremy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to this video stuff.
You pushed for video. I'm just saying.
Don't bring your logic into this.
Yeah,
Get your shit together, man.
a whisk or something going on in the back.
There we are. So this is the manga, so you can check this out. And you can see there's Josh Perez, right? His name right there.
Ages 2 to 3, I think. Is that what it's saying?
Yes, that's what it looks like. So cool.
Actually, then we can go here to.
So good.
Yeah.
Did anyone read the first part of this?
I did not.
No.
But it is available if you are curious.
Yep. No, actually, I did read it. It was an interesting story. They're turning like the Leo Prime here into like almost like an anti-hero, almost like a kind of like not a Punisher, but kind of like that vein of an anti-hero. It's like, hey, I'm not going to just sit by while people are just going to get like slaughtered, but I'm not going to really go and do something nice for people either. So. Maybe we'll have to review it on there once all the parts come out.
Yeah,
cool. That's something we could do.
I'm down.
In the original Japanese, though. Otherwise, you just.
Yeah. Yep. I'm right there with you, man.
I'm for it. Gambate, everyone.
What?
All right. Next bit of comics news. We've got IDW's solicitations for November and December 2022. So these are the last bits of Transformers comics coming out. Last from IDW ever. So we've got they're putting up a few more collections. We've got the Best of Shockwave collection, a Best of Windblade collection, and then the Transformers Volume 6. This is the 2019 series, Volume 6, the final volume. So it's titled War's End, and it collects basically the end of the Transformers 2019 series, 37 to 43. Then the War's End miniseries 1 to 4, and then the final Fate of Cybertron, the double-sized issue that wrapped up that continuity. So if you wanted the end of the Transformers there for IDW's latest 2019 series, that's where it was. And we've also got the final Shattered Glass issues. So Shattered Glass number 4 is coming in November, and then Shattered Glass number 5 is coming in December. And we've got what's interesting is this reveal of Shattered Glass number 5 actually reveals the last figure in the Hasbro Shattered Glass line. And as you can see, it looks to be Soundwave. So Shattered Glass Soundwave is coming for the last figure in the Shattered Glass line. And you can, so IDW revealed that and Hasbro, I guess, kind of forgot that solicitations come out, or maybe it has IDW jumped the gun a bit. I don't know.
What are they going to do? Take the license away? But prepare yourself for the fandom crying about Soundwave not coming with a cloth headband, because we've already been through this once. Like BotCon did it, but it did come with one. So then I think, didn't Hasbro release something like this before? I don't know. I just remember there was a big uproar about the whole headband thing. So
how hard would it be to make one? It's a strip of green fabric.
Yeah.
I know Starscream comes with a cloth cave. Like,
Well, I can tell you that I love. You saying, did it not come with anything, or was it just that it wasn't cloth?
No, the BotCon one, like the first one they did, it did come with a cloth headband. But I think there might have been like a later BotCon Soundwave, like Shattered Glass Soundwave, that didn't, or it was plastic or something.
Well, I love the fact that I can't say anything.
except that your name is at the top of that page there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't color that cover, but I've colored.
But
well, in fact, this issue I'm about to start coloring, and I obviously I saw all the toys months ago, but I can't say anything because unless they're officially revealed, I can't say a thing.
So when we're done recording, you can tell just us though, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you how it's all a hilarious mislead. It's all about Shattered Glass Wheelie.
Yeah. Actually, I don't care as long as we get the Shattered Glass Soundwave figure, because I've said it before. I'm a slut for Soundwave.
I would imagine the official news is probably going to come out at PulseCon. I mean, that seems like the opportune time.
Which is soon?
I think so. Yeah.
September. Yeah.
It is September. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Last Bot Standing didn't make it into this collection.
Oh,
well, that's its own thing. So
maybe its own trade will come out. Yeah, I get. Oh wait, no, it can't. Oh yeah, you're right. This is the solicitation. So that this is it. If nothing comes out now, it's not coming out. So yeah, a Last Bot Standing collection was not in the solicitations here. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's interesting is that Flame War is Shattered Glass 4. So that's the toy for Shattered Glass 4. And now I'm confused. So, JP, you mentioned, why is Slicer not just evil Wheeljack? Why is Flame War not evil RC? Why? I thought Flame War is a Decepticon, but the Decepticons are good here, right? So why is she just regular Flame War? What's going on?
Oh, you have to read the book. Obviously I didn't write it, so I don't have all the answers. And also, Shattered Glass is its own thing, baby. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
So, the old rules aren't necessarily the new rules. That's all I'm going to say.
That's another thing we're not getting a trade of is the Shattered Glass stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine the new publisher will have the ability to republish and use the stuff.
Yeah, that's true too. Then maybe we'll get a last spot standing there or something.
I mean, at some point, it'll be worth it for them to collect stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite at the I haven't. This is my last issue 5, and I haven't quite. When the license going was announced, I'd already known for a little bit, and I saved my. Lots of people were kind of doing their reflective thing on it all. And I was like, no, I'm not ready to have that thought process out loud yet. I'm going to wait, and now I'm getting perilously close to well, doing the last issue, which is pretty. If it isn't, it's the last original issue, even if it's not the last issue, but I think it may well be, which is like even harder to process, I think. So it's kind of like, oh, I thought I'd save this up for when I was ready, and instead I'm going to be I think by the end of this month or beginning of next, will probably be a quivering mass just going. I can't believe it. After well over, I'm not even sure how long it's over a decade anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I do remember, I think I shared it on here before, but I do when I finished Regeneration 1, it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I fiddled with that last page for ages because I didn't quite want to accept that it was over, and then I burst into tears. So it's like one of those things that they're going, I'm not quite ready for this, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I hope I'll have done
Well-
everyone proud with Shattered Glass 5 when it comes out, and there aren't my tears streaming down each page.
Well, you work digitally, so
Do I? I'm pretty sure we established that I do it with felt tip pens.
So
Okay.
they send you every copy to do manually.
It comes through on a dot matrix printer. Takes about 3 hours per page. I have to use what do you call it? Whiteout? Is it whiteout? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I know American brand names. I have to get rid of all the green lines on the dot matrix paper first of all, and then I hand color it, and then I just
Nice.
scrunch it into a ball and throw it in the direction of San Diego, and everything works out fine.
you don't fax it.
I know. Now, who can afford a fax in this economy? You can't afford the gas to run a fax machine. No. That's how they work, right?
Yeah.
I never knew how the comic industry worked. This
No,
is
you know.
fascinating.
I've peeled back the curtain, my friend.
Learned so much.
Yeah. The industry is now laid bare for all to see.
All right, well, that's all our comics news. So we're going to move on to our more John-Paul Bove shenanigans. So JP, we're really excited to have you on, especially since last week, as you mentioned that you mentioned in Trips to the Store and the toy show that you were at TF Nation. And we had a big announcement at TF Nation with this the UK Transformer stamps offered by the Royal Mail, which is an awesome set of piece of this artwork done by Andrew Wildman and Stephen Baskerville and John-Paul Bove.
Yeah.
And calling back to the old school G1 Transformers comics, the artwork for these stamps is just incredible, and it's great to see that your colors are shining through here. So, JP, wanted to get to just hear the inside story on how this came to be, and then how you got involved.
Well, so the Queen was round the house, and I was like, Liz, aren't my Transformers great? No. So what it is, basically, what one of the people who is in charge of stamps at Royal Mail is, all the collectibles side of things, is a massive Transformers fan. He's actually regular sized, but he likes Transformers a lot. And he was like, I sort of got this quiet nod that perhaps something might be brewing, and I thought, well, there's someone who's in charge of Royal Mail stamps, and they're contacting me, even with my three kilobyte brain. I was like, maybe it's Transformers stamps. And thankfully it was. So they approached myself, Andrew, and Stephen at the same time, to say, we really want you to do this. We want something that really has something to do with the British connection to Transformers. So obviously there's a huge component of Transformers, between Simon and Andrew and Jeff Senior and Stephen Baskerville, and then me tagging on at the end. That have sort of played a part in helping define what Transformers is. So, but what was kind of cool was when they first said, "Oh, we want to do stamps," they hadn't completely decided what characters they were going to choose, or exactly what scenarios they were going to appear in, and those sorts of things. So there was quite a lot of discussion at the beginning of like, well, who should we have, and I think it's fair to say that had I had my way, there would have been about 73 stamps. And at least one of them would have been Wheeljet. But it was very much that thing of like trying to really think about iconic characters that really needed to be there. And you do sort of, it was a struggle to figure that out and think, oh well, are we letting down the some fan of something else? So it was a series of double stamps, as I think you've just scrolled through there, um, of classic. Well, they're not necessarily classic pairings, but they're sort of two characters, good guys and bad guys side by side. And then there's a second set, which is a larger picture, which is the Dinobots. I don't know if it's on there or not. Which is the Dinobots all together, and then the individual stamps pick out the Dinobot mode on them. Which it is fair to say that this image nearly killed me. It might not seem like it should have, but when I'm doing comic books, normally, a page with 6 panels or whatever on it would consume probably about, I don't know, between 600 and 800 megabytes of space, and maybe have 10 layers, perhaps. The Dinobots topped out at 3 gigabytes.
Oh,
whoa.
And had 75, 76 layers, something like that. I was pleased I had upgraded my laptop shortly before this had happened, because I think Steam would have poured out the back of it. So yeah, and it was one of those ones as well that you don't really appreciate how complicated it is, because it's like the Queen's head has to be on the stamps and has to be visible, and at one point it looked like the volcano was burning her face, and yeah. So there was, you sort of start realize, you can see the volcano. I had to darken the volcano there right next to Grimlock, in order to make sure that you could still see that, because it has to be on the stamp and it has to be visible within the stamp. So, but yeah, so there was a lot of discussion at one point. This was going to be a different scene, but still involving the Dinobots. But it gets very complicated because you need to see all of the Dinobots' faces nice and clear, and if you try and have them, for instance, fighting someone, then all of a sudden everybody's side on, and you can't see their faces anymore. So that was the the way that we kind of got to this at the end. But yeah, so it was great because I had a bit of input in who the characters should be, like who was essential. Obviously Optimus Prime and Megatron were definitely there, as you can imagine. Um, but we went back and forth on everyone's favourites, like Wheelie. Um, and and also just so there's a surprising amount of I don't want to say freedom, but a lot of option for input. What could the backgrounds be? So it was like, well, let's have them all at different places at different times of the day. So you've got nighttime and space, and you've got the desert, and you've got the jungle. So just that they all look kind of visually different. And then it was me that said, well, let's have the all the double stamps looking um, kind of old school, somewhere halfway between how I did the colors on uh, Transformers '84 and Regeneration 1, so that the characters themselves are kind of done old school. If you could see them at full size, they're full of Ben-Day dots. It's all dotty goodness.
Oh, nice.
And then the backgrounds are a little bit more Regen 1 style, but then with a kind of comic book dappled overlay on there. And then the Dinobots was done completely modern, shiny, special effects, all that kind of stuff. So we had kind of two different sets of things there to suit different people. And the good thing about the stamps is, one, you can shine a UV light on them, and it reveals their name in Cybertronian and their faction symbol. And then if you have the Royal Mail app, even if you don't own the stamp, you can just hover the Royal Mail app over the stamps, and it will show you a short clip of that transformer transforming. So it's an interactive postage stamp. And yeah, they've gone absolutely bonkers with the ways in which you can have the stamps. So James Roberts wrote a booklet to go with some of them. So the special edition stamps in a matrix-like case, and they've done little silver ingots, little metal ingots with the artwork printed on it, and they've done coins and stamp sets and Marvel UK cover recreations with sets of stamps on them. Yeah, loads and loads of stuff. So it's great because I was not allowed to talk to anyone about these for 11 months.
Oh wow.
So yeah, when it was finally announced, I still felt like I'd gotten so used to keeping the secret that I felt like I was doing something wrong every time someone asked me about the stamp. Because yeah, even before they were announced, they're like, "Oh, you going to the stamp reveal later?" And they're going, "Yeah, I think I'll be there," because I still felt like I couldn't say anything. Yeah, so
you were on stage, right?
well, no, they did like a reveal of the art, and then they announced who the because they hadn't shown any of the imagery. So if they'd have announced me, Andrew, and whatnot, then it would have given some of the game away. But yeah, and literally, the Queen has to approve the stamps. So the Transformer stamps, genuinely, I'm not making this up. She had to view the stamps and approve them as suitable, so that the actual Queen of England has looked at the stamps and gone, "Yes, I approve of these," because they cannot become stamps unless she's approved them.
Wow.
Which is absolutely bonkers.
I would like to think, having been around, the princes are of our age, so they probably had Transformers when they were kids, so she's probably aware of what they are.
Yeah. Her favorite
So-
Starscream, I reckon.
Probably. He looks
She has
great
a
in the
crown.
crown.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Or Grimlock, the same reason. Yeah. So honestly, and like my dad was a postman for or a mailman, for 20.
we say postman too. We say
say
postman.
okay.
Yeah.
So for about 20 years. So again, it feels like weirdly, I don't know, feels kind of cool to do something. And also just people have gone, like people know I work in comics, and for a lot of people that's like, I don't really understand what that is. Oh, that's nice. You get the kind of, that must be nice. Little drawings. But yeah, the stamps, it's gone. People have gone. Honestly, the people have come from all over. And my mum, who, if I had my mum as my publicist, I would be bigger than Elvis, physically and in popularity. But yeah, just the fact that she can tell everyone, and everybody understands what stamps. Everybody knows what stamps are. People use them. So it's been a in my, I keep saying this, that like in my decade and a bit in Transformers, I've been so tremendously lucky and blessed that I got to work on the continuation of Marvel G1 with Simon and Andrew and whatnot. I got to then do Transformers 84, which was going the other way. I got to do box art, and you kind of think, oh man, if I hit all the high points, and then suddenly it's like, yay, stamps! And it's just kind of surreal. It's been absolutely surreal and delightful, and yeah, people were so excited at TF Nation, and I haven't done a big convention for a while, and it was overwhelming. Genuinely, I was overwhelmed by just how happy everybody was. That because to have stamps means like Transformers is mainstream in a way, like it's going to be everywhere, and that was exciting, and we all just felt like we were part of this thing of like, look, it's nearly 40 years, and like we're still here, and yeah, and as I say again, anytime I get to work with Andrew and Stephen is just a delight. And I think from Andrew's point of view, he's very much like, this is probably the last Transformers thing I will ever do. And yeah, well, it won't be the last thing I ever do, but it could be close to the last thing. So that that it does feel like, yeah, I don't know, it felt huge.
No, it's very. I mean, I immediately pre-ordered. The special edition sets, so I'm eagerly awaiting them. And if someday I get to meet you in person, I'm going to have you sign them.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I keep eyeing flights whenever I see a TF con.
TFCon Chicago is easy to fly to.
It is. It's expensive to fly to.
Well,
so's everywhere from here. But yeah, no, I enjoyed TF Nation so much, and I'd forgotten how much it genuinely re-energizes me, because you spend so long sat in front of the screen, doing whatever you're doing, and then but I'm coloring away, and then I submit it, and then it gets printed, and half the time I'm so busy moving on to the next thing that I don't even get to like reflect on it or see what did people think or what have you, or if you go on Twitter you find out how much people hate it. But it's
they hate everything.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I kind of, going back to a big convention full of people who all love the same thing I do, was bliss. So I was like, yeah, do you know what? Edging close to that time, I've got to go back to the States or Canada to hang out with my buds over there, and many of you I've never, in fact, all of you I've never met in person.
Yeah.
So
and I Andrew Wildman was at TFCon Toronto, so we did get to do an interview with him and talk to him. So that was very cool.
He did not mention a thing about the stamps.
Yeah.
No. NDA, baby.
Yeah. You don't want the Queen to send her people out.
No. So yeah, no, I was very excited that Andrew got to go out, and I was fine with being left behind. But yeah, one day it'll be sooner rather than later. Now I think we're kind of getting away. I miss everybody, and particularly with the IDW stuff ending, it feels like a good time to go out and I don't know, celebrate the end. I guess.
Yep.
In a huge killing spree. No.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
to get drunk and drive car first into a Target.
Yeah. Well, we promise we'll take you to a Target or a Toys R Us if it's Canada.
Thank you.
And a Walmart.
And a Walmart.
That's very important.
I will travel with an empty suitcase as I usually do, and return with a very full suitcase.
Yeah, that's the biggest convention tip anyone can get. Is like pack your suitcase inside the suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I did that for BotCon 2014.
Yeah. That way you don't have to buy an extra suitcase while you're there.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that.
I think I went slightly insane the first time I went. I think it was the first BotCon I did, because I'm pretty sure we had to actually check in an extra bag, because we had filled up so many bags of things.
Oh no.
Because yeah, suddenly I'd gone from never seeing loads of G1 original toys. What's this? Omega Supreme? Yeah, put it in the bag. There's plenty of room. So yeah.
Yeah.
Soon.
Well, thanks JP for giving us the lowdown and the awesome work that you did on these stamps, and it's really great, and you know we appreciate your sacrifice of being quiet for almost a year before it came out, so and not spoiling it for us. So it was.
You're down here now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can literally
Because
lift your arm up, John. There we go. Sorry. Horrors of things.
We'll have to do a special puppet show episode. All right, well that's our fun chat with Mr. John-Paul Bove. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we're gonna shift gears and go right into Transformers media news.
All right. Well, in media news, we got a couple of things to look at. I'm actually going to start off with some updates with the art and making of the War for Cybertron trilogy book. This is up. I put it in the chat, dude. You know, I gave you a whole 30 seconds warning. So yeah, the War for Cybertron art book was scheduled to come out, I believe, in September at some point, but it has been pushed back to October 11th. So hopefully this comes out in October and we don't have any other delays to it. But this is all about the artwork for the War for Cybertron trilogy that was on Netflix, Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom. So pre-orders are still for $40 on it. It is a hardcover. If you are interested in art books at all, go ahead and give it a pre-order because it does look pretty good. I have mine pre-ordered, and yeah. Oh wow, this like the pre-orders went up back in like April. Wow, didn't realize it was that long. But anyway, slight delay on that. moving on to some gaming news. Let's see here. G1 Sunstreaker joins Transformers Forged to Fight. If I remember right, Forged to Fight came out back in 2016, and it is still going strong. So they've been adding new characters every now and again. And although it says G1 Sunstreaker, this looks an awful lot like the classics / Generations mold for Sunstreaker, the one that was both Sunstreaker and Sideswipe. So if you are playing Forged to Fight, then this is coming out pretty soon. I don't think we have an actual date for it, but do a June update. So it looks like it might already be out. The next thing we get to talk about is the 10th anniversary of Fall of Cybertron. This is the third-person shooter that came out on August 21st, 2012 by High Moon Studios. I played this game a ton when it came out. What about you guys? Did you play this here at all?
I played it a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit?
I didn't get to finish it, but I still have it in my backlog.
Yeah. You're awful, Charles.
I hate to say it, but I'm in the same boat as Charles. Like, I played it a little bit. I played War for Cybertron a lot when that came out.
You mean Fall of Cybertron? Oh no, this is Fall.
No, this is Fall. I played the first one, War. Yeah. And I really, really liked it, and I was excited for this, but I think it just came out at a bad time, and I just didn't put the time in, and I've never finished it. I did play a hell of a lot of the multiplayer, though. That was awesome.
That's fair. I
played the story mode and didn't really touch the multiplayer.
I did the same thing, Jeremy. One thing that I was a little disappointed in when this game came out was that it wasn't campaign multiplayer, unlike the War for Cybertron game. So like a friend of mine and I went through the War for Cybertron pretty effectively. I mean, we went through like all the difficulties. We got everything. We got all the little hidden stuff, like the little audio diary log things that were in there. And that was fun. But yeah, in the end, because of the very asymmetric nature of the story, they didn't put in effectively like the couch co-op for the game. So, the campaign was single player, but there was a ton of multiplayer stuff. Paulo, I saw you shake your head that you haven't played this at all, huh?
No, I've only watched game playthroughs of the game. I haven't played it at all.
Yeah. Well, sadly, because Activision no longer has the license, it's impossible to get.
I thought they did a re-release on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, but that was several years ago, and it's been delisted since then.
Oh, has it?
That sucks.
But if you own it, you can still play it. But if you
have a physical copy as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could get digital copies from other places.
I had the physical copies of both of these games. Unfortunately, my 360 died years ago, so I haven't been able to play it physically for a very long time. But I did pick them up on Steam when they went on sale. So luckily, I still have them in my collection. So that's good. I still play them every couple of years, just go through them. I will say that the Fall of Cybertron story, the single player story campaign, is actually really, really nice. It kind of shifts back and forth between Autobots and Decepticons, and it's really effectively done well. And there's a lot of asymmetric kind of nature to the storytelling. So you play as Grimlock, you play as the Combaticons, and it's a really just good, solid solid Transformers game. Just a good solid game in general, but it's a very good Transformers game. If you are able to find a physical copy at some point to pick up and on a system that actually works, then I highly recommend it. But yeah, it's as you said, because it's been delisted, it's hard to find nowadays.
Yeah. And pour one out for High Moon Studios, the development company that was pretty much chopped up and disbanded after the game came out.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, so unfortunate. I mean, honestly, at least for me, this is some of the best Transformers gameplay like you could ever play.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate that they weren't able to continue with that.
I did just go online just to see if I could find a copy, and I will say that if you go to GameStop's website, it is in stock to buy a pre-owned copy on 360 or PlayStation 3, $20.
That's very reasonable.
That for a game that's been delisted and everything, yeah, that's really reasonable.
Absolutely. I hope I hope it does come back at some point, simply because there have been so many games over the last like 30 years that have just disappeared, just vanished from like almost from the face of the earth, because there's just no way of getting it anymore. And with rights issues like being delisted, it's just so easy to just disappear.
Yep.
But yeah, so Fall Cybertron turns 10 today on while we're recording on the 21st. And if you have it, pop it in, play a few hours. It's a fun time. Now, the last thing I got for gaming news is Renegade Games, the company that is putting out the deck building game and the RPG, has put out a new expansion. I think it was announced a few weeks ago, but I don't think a lot of people picked up on it. But this is a Dawn of the Dinobots expansion for the deck building game. If you pre-order it, you will get a Dawn of the Dinobots bonus pack for free. And I'm not quite certain what is actually in the bonus pack. Probably some extra character cards and some extra like equipment and stuff to play the game with.
Bonus
and you know
pack
what?
has 2 promo playable characters, Snarl and Razorclaw, and 2 promo main deck cards.
Okay. Neat.
So.
I already pre-ordered this. The moment it came out, I saw it, I pre-ordered it. So it's $30. It's a little pricey for an expansion, and you do need to have the base game in order to do it. But still, artwork on the box is very, very nice too. Now, all right. So Charles, Jeremy, Dr. Pence, I know you 3 are fans of the deck building game because we played it online. So let me ask Apollo and JP here. What do you guys think about the game? Have you played it? Any interest in getting it?
You want to go JP first?
Go for it.
I have never played any of these games, and I have absolutely no idea how. It is not because I don't want to. It is I have no idea. Yeah, I don't. I've kind of like been at conventions where people have been playing,
Mm-hmm.
and I've sort of stood there like the ghost picnic, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'll just slink away. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea where I would even begin.
You have to actually play it in order to understand it. It's how I was before Mike forced me to play it.
Is this I played a game. I don't know if it's the deck building game or not, but it was a Transformers tabletop game. It was the one that had like Megatron smiling really big on the box. Is this the same game?
Technically, yes. It's the same part of this whole system.
Okay.
But it's not the exact same one that you played.
Yeah, I played the original. I actually have the physical copy of it and have played it a few times, and I liked it. There were things that I haven't played this expansion pack for this, so I don't know how the gameplay has changed or been adjusted. Like I found some of it was a little clunky playing it,
Yeah.
but I liked it. It's just I've only played it like a few times, so it'd be interesting to see how this expansion pack changes the gameplay.
Certainly. So there is the base game is currently out. The second base set, the Decepticon base set, is scheduled to, I want to say it was like this month or next month or something like that. And the first expansion is in a similar place. Like it should be shipping relatively soon. So this is going to be the second expansion, adds all the Dinobots, and apparently it adds Devastator as like the first playable combiner that you can have in the game. So that's interesting. I'm not certain like how that's going. It's supposed to be a bigger card, so I don't know how that's going to interact with the grid of cards that are there.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe there'll be the individual Constructicons will be individual characters, and then once they're all revealed, then you replace them with Devastator or something like that. Because that's what I remembered with the gameplay was you had like this board of the table was full of all these cards face down, and then you have to move your character, and depending on if they're in robot mode or vehicle mode, you have like more or less movement points. Like if they're in vehicle mode, they have more movement points.
Sure,
But
right.
if they're in robot mode, they have more like attack strength. Like I remembered I played as RC and my boyfriend, I think he played as Optimus Prime in that. But like you'd go and move onto these different cards and there were different things that would happen. Like you'd have like an enemy encounter or like a boss encounter. I think like Soundwave and Starscream were considered bosses. And then there were like Insecticons that were like considered more like lower enemies, if I'm remembering right.
Absolutely.
And then you had to like collect Energon. There were like these little like Energon places where you could get Energon, and there were other things too. Like it's been like a few months since I played this, but I do remember like there were things about it I really liked, but like I think like switching between vehicle mode and alt mode, there was something weird with that, and I was just like, I'm like, if this was the show, they would just switch, like I think there was some sort of like cost in doing that, but
sure, yeah. Well, excellent.
Yeah,
well,
I'm a transformer. I just transform. I don't need to, to spend money to transform.
Yeah.
Or spend Energon, whatever.
And I think it was funny in the instruction booklet, it did say transform. I don't think it said convert. Do you remember that, Mike? Does it say convert? Or it says transform and not convert? And I'm like,
it does. I'm pretty certain it does say transform.
Yeah. So I'll need the link for the Decepticon expansion because I was like, I just want to play as Starscream, and I played as RC, which was fine. But I was
RC is pretty badass in the game. In terms of power.
Oh, she was. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I won playing as her. Like even though Optimus Prime's pretty overpowered as a character, like I won.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, Renegade Studios needs to have a chat with Lego because Lego still needs to fix the book that came with the Lego Optimus Prime, where they butchered the classic Optimus Prime quote there. So, have you heard of this, JP?
No.
So in the the Lego Optimus Prime, it comes with the Lego instruction booklet, and it's actually really nice. It has lots of little fun facts about Transformers and Optimus Prime in it. But in the first page, it has the classic quote. Optimus Prime says, "Autobots convert and roll out." That's the quote, right?
Mm-hmm.
Convert and roll out. Is that how they say it?
I mean, otherwise, it's a great manual, but
yeah.
That really bothered me when I was looking at mine too.
Yeah, that's I'm not a fan. Not a fan. 0 out of 10. Do not like.
Nice. Yeah. So this is going to be coming out Q4 of this year. So sooner than we think. Like I would have imagined this would have been like early next year, but apparently it's going to be for October, November, or December release. So I'm hoping everything works smoothly and it all gets out. They don't make a mistake with the promo cards like they did last time, and we go from there. So yeah. There's one other quick thing that I'm just going to talk about. Also from Renegade Studios, the Transformers role-playing game. The PDF, the digital rulebook, is now out and is available for people to buy and download. And the physical copies of the book are going to be coming out by September, October or so. So if you have pre-ordered the physical copy, you can get the PDF right now, or if you just want to buy the PDF, it's $38.50, but you can buy it now and download the entire rulebook. It does come with an adventure, like the first adventure in the back, and yeah, so pretty soon I'm not going to be able to say that Empire of Rust is the first and only Transformers RPG out there.
Live
the
play.
best one.
Our RPG podcast, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's going to make a podcast of it.
Yeah, his name is Mike.
But cool.
Well, we
That
gotta.
is-
I don't. Renegade Studios needs to hit us up. I don't know why they haven't. I mean, I know, Mike. You tried to reach out to them. They didn't. They never got back to you. They should be talking to you. I mean, you're their core audience.
I know, right?
Pop humor.
They like the tweet that we made about the YouTube, like the deck building game we did.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think
Yeah.
I don't have enough name recognition because like a lot of like actual plays nowadays are getting like minor celebrities or people like in the industry to actually do it. So I think I just don't have enough name recognition.
So when we get Joe Manganiello on Empire of Rust, then we'll be all good, right?
Yep.
Maybe
There
we
we go.
we get a bunch of renowned stamp artists and get them to play.
Wasn't Emily Blunt supposed to have turned up for this?
No, you got me instead.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoops.
I'm thinking maybe we should have gone with blood if we were trying to. No offense.
No.
I would have.
I'm never going to say that I am better than Emily Blunt.
Look, JP just needs to be blunt about this.
Oh, boo.
No, that was good. That was good. I appreciate the dad joke.
This is why we're not getting contact with Renegade.
Yeah.
But actually, that's a good segue. Everyone should check out our YouTube series of the live play Transformers deck building game that we did. So we have all 4 parts out on YouTube. You can check it out. See me, Jeremy, Dr. Pants, and Mike get through a single game, and you can see, JP. Will give you a sense of how the game is played if you take a look at that video, so check it out.
If you can stomach looking at my smiling face for an hour.
As you know, I don't watch or listen to any of the ones I'm not in.
We know.
But I might make an exception.
Or hear me out. You get the expansion, and we do a part 2 and bring in everybody.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
I will stay up until 6, 7 a.m. and go into school after that. I am ready for it.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Love it. All right. Well, that's it for media news. And I think that's going to bring us to convention news.
All right. In convention news, just one thing this week. Josh Burcham has been announced as being the next guest for TFCon Chicago. This is October 21st through 23rd. And he's most recently done the Beast Wars series that just wrapped up. That was excellent. And he's always a great guy to meet at conventions. So I'm sure he'll have prints and commissions and everything. So check out his Twitter for commission information, and looking forward to seeing him. And then, unless JP wants to announce here that he's going to be there, but yeah.
Oh, I'll be there.
No. Anyway,
You won't see me, but I'll be there.
you'll be there in spirit. All right. But that's all we got for convention news this week.
All right, we'll finish up the show with some feedback.
Almost missed it.
So this is feedback for episode 500 of the main show, but it came in just a little bit late. So, but I wanted to read it here because it's from friend of the show, Will. I think he's also a Donatron. Will says, "Hey guys, happy 500th episode and Alt Mode 300th. I've been a faithful listener for the last 3 years, and I've been happy to have you in my ears on a regular basis. 500 episodes is an achievement, and I hope you keep moving on to bigger and better things. The podcast is a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll bump into each other at a con one day so I can thank you in person for all your hard work. All the best for the future, Will." Thank you, Will. That's a very heartfelt and awesome letter to get in. We love getting the feedback like that. So thank you so much for sending that in.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I hope we do get to meet up at a convention.
That was a veiled threat, if ever I heard one. I hope I get to see you at a convention.
I did. He said I didn't see the air quotes for thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a real achievement. 500.
This is why we need voicemail, so we can get the inflection of what people are saying. Text can be misinterpreted. Come on, voicemails, people, voicemails.
Yeah.
But that was really
all
nice.
right. Well, sorry.
I said that was a really nice letter. Nice message from Will.
Yeah.
No,
Totally.
Really nice letter.
Oh, we're just making fun of Will so much tonight.
Will, we're laughing with you, not at you.
Yeah.
Will,
No, it's a nice letter.
Will, I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
Clip it and save it, Will. Clip it and save it.
All right. Well, that takes us to the end of this landmark Transmissions Alt Mode 300. As always, at the end of each show, we give a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons, and those are the people who are contributing to the show at our highest non-Bove level. So thank you so much to John Forex Levengood and Demon Tech 82. We really appreciate you guys contributing at the almost highest level for the donatron. So we really appreciate that. And I got to thank everyone for joining us on this special episode of Transmissions. Of course, we've got our regular crew, our new school crew. We've got Apollo, Dr. Pants, and Mike. Mike's old school, but as a
Mid
guest,
school.
mid school. Okay. and of course, John-Paul Bove. It's always a fun time whenever you're here. So we really appreciate you. Whenever you're willing to deprive yourself of a lot of sleep and hang out with us, we really appreciate it.
Let me tell you, Charles, I can honor. It's always a pleasure. It is.
You definitely leave your stamp on the show.
My
Oh, God.
okay. I was so tired I didn't get that joke because I was going to go. Did you mean
Bedtime.
stank or stank? And then it was only as you explained the joke that my tired brain went, oh yeah.
We can fix it in post.
Yeah. No, let people see my.
I'll add the stank. Don't worry.
Yeah. Let people see my beleaguered mind at work. This is what they're paying for.
So, JP, anything else coming up that you want to plug, or social media, or anything you want to tell us before we get out of here?
Shadow Glass is coming. So volume 2, I guess. So I worked on. I didn't work on issue 2, but I worked on all the other issues.
I think the first issue is next week.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The first 4 issues were all done. So I'm currently on the 5th and final. And yeah, beyond that, I don't have anything to say, which is terrifying. So if
You've already said a lot.
if there's anyone out there who wants a comic book colorist, so yeah, I'll join you next week as intern, or next time as intern, as minimum wage frame holder upper. something.
No,
I don't know.
we only do unpaid internships for
Well,
exposure.
That's going to be the best offer I've had all year. So,
Just exposure pays great around here.
although a judge did recently say I wasn't allowed to expose myself, but I'm sure he'll be fine with it. But no, my, whatever it is, Twitter is there. And that's it really. Come find me on the interwebs.
Awesome. Apollo, why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online?
Yeah, well, I haven't posted any art in a while. I am practicing drawing again, though. But I'm on Twitter and Instagram at RoboApollo. I'm also part of the Transmissions Discord. It's a really friendly Discord community with lots of daily chatting about Transformers and video games and things like that. So please join the Transmissions Discord.
Awesome. Thank you for that plug.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, Dr. Pants.
Oh, where can you find me?
Yes.
Aside from here?
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is your chance for self-promotion.
Yes. I need all of it I can get. You can find me and my friends at the Nostradamus YouTube channel, where we do mostly gaming stuff. You might find some silly videos, some music videos, some Transformers related stuff. We've done it because I'm on it and I love robots. I have to get my say. We also stream every Friday and Wednesday. It's me and my co-host doing the Friday streams at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. We just play games. Please come and join us. I post the link actually on the Transformers Discord under gaming. So if you need the link, it's there. Please join us. We were silent for a little while. It was a really bad month, but we're back. We're having fun. And you can check out our streams on the YouTube channel if you miss them. We just played the Mortuary Assistant on Friday. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, please.
Is that like the sequel to Operation?
Do you want to know the truth? Kinda. Like, I am impressed at how real it was having to prepare a body to embalm it and everything. But there's also a horror aspect.
This is a game you play for fun, huh?
I was
not expecting this conversation tonight.
This is a real thing?
I think he might have frozen up.
Oh no, Dr.
Or he's doing that very still thing that Charles is doing. In it.
Yeah.
He's Westworld.
Oh,
there we go.
There he is.
I don't know what happened. But anyway.
You start talking about obituaries.
You're giving your impression of the body.
I think you just confessed to a crime, and we had to. We had to edit it out.
These were virtual bodies we were embalming. Virtual bodies.
Virtual.
But just a heads up, it is a horror game, and there are some jump scares, so be ready for that. But no, we have a lot of fun on the YouTube channel, so please come join us and watch us. And you can find me on Twitter and other places here. I'm also on TikTok. That's a thing. Yeah, I'm on TikTok. Yeah. I'm so thrilled about it, but
look at you go.
I know, right? I'm on all the social medias. I don't do anything, but I'm there.
You're keeping up with the younger generation.
Well, when you teach high school, you kind of have to, just so you can understand half the things they're saying. God, when Snapchat was around, it was like they were speaking another language.
Back
Mike,
in my day.
Mike, what do you want to promote here while we're at it?
I want to plug Empire of Rust, of course. As of this moment, still the world's only Transformers RPG podcast. Yeah, you're right.
Always be the first.
But yeah, so check out Empire of Rust, and if you're interested in seeing some toy photography or some 3D artwork that I have made for work, you can take a look at my Twitter, which is also right about and yeah, so that's what I got.
All right, and I think that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Send help.
Bye. Bye, all.
Later.
He did the Daryl thing.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.